Kevin Brown, Schneider Electric. Tell us about the Edge.
Yeah, so it's today we were here at the Data Center Dynamics London, and we presented a new white paper. It was trying to give maybe a new way that the industry needs to be looking at availability and resiliency given the development of the hybrid cloud environment, and talking a lot about, whereas in the past we may have only looked at one data center and the availability of that one data center. What we started analyzing based off of feedback that we've gotten from our customers is how do you start looking at the reliability and availability of the whole system, including localized or micro data centers that might be on the edge. And so we presented kind of a methodology and a scorecard that people might be able to implement to try and help them work through this really quite new development in the data center market.
Okay, so it turns out that data centers on the edge don't have to be so reliable individually.
Well, that's what's interesting is if you look at the analysis and you start looking at what was yesterday's server rooms and wiring closets are now becoming mission critical, because without those connection points into the network in the localized data center, that really our research is showing is that actually is what's going to determine your availability as you go forward. So, it's possible in the future you might see, a tier 3 data center, possibly with failover. You might have kind of the cloud data centers at a tier 1 or tier 2 design, but when you have the one data center that is at the branch office or the local area, that actually might need to be built more reliably, because with a higher level of availability, because that might be the weakest link in the chain. So that it's no longer that I just worry about my big data center. You have to take what was yesterday's server rooms and wiring closets and start thinking about them as edge data centers, and maybe we need to take some of those best practices from our large data centers and start applying them in these maybe things that might only be 1 or 2 racks big.
Right.
So to us, that's the trend that we're starting to see develop because of this dependency of multiple networks in these hybrid environments.
Right, so are we going to see new classes of like tiny UPSs and tiny cooling systems designed specifically to make edge data centers more reliable?
That's exactly what we're starting to see a lot of customers ask for is, if I want to make them more reliable, how do I build a tier 3 data center in a 1 or 2 rack format? It really starts becoming an interesting engineering challenge. And it's also not just about the cooling and the power, but also about the physical security. So, physical security is probably your first step on cybersecurity. Mm-hmm. So how do you put in some of the best practices that you would use in a typical tier 3 regional data center? How do you apply that into 100 remote offices that I might have? And so we see a lot of customers looking on how do I harden the edge? How do I put in better surveillance, get better control of the access, where historically maybe we didn't worry about that as much. It's now becoming much higher on a lot of our customers' priority list from what they're telling us.
Right, that's a good viewpoint. A word of caution as we move to the edge.
Absolutely, it's a new brave world is developing, I think.
Brilliant, thank you very much.